live on our social media platforms now.
Hi, Flo.
So do you know if you got you live now? Yeah. So it should connect. Okay, I already got notification. So we are live. All right, we're really sorry for the delay. It's 10 minutes past our start time. But we're still gonna have a lot of the fun stuff that we will promise to give you guys today, still happening. So as part of introduction, I'm just gonna give you a highlight about what we're talking about today. Now, just an example, have you ever like felt like you're holding back in your relationship, you're afraid of you're opening up? So maybe you fear being judged or rejected or even misunderstood. Okay, sorry, you can't hear me. Give me one sec here, just to be sure. Okay, I'm just gonna check just to be sure I'm not muted. Can you talk? Let me hear you, Sheil.
Hi, Flo. Am I
Okay, I
audible?
can't hear you too.
Okay, let me take a look.
All right, so I'm just gonna be sure that my guests can hear me because we're currently live, and
Hi, Flo.
I'm also going to be looking into the stream. Okay, give me one sec. Can you hear me now? No?
Yeah, I can hear you in the background. Yes.
Like just nod your head if you can hear me. No or no?
Yes, I can. Yeah.
You can hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, because
Yes.
I cannot hear you. So let me see who's.
Yeah, I can. I
Yeah, I
can
can.
hear you in the
I can hear
background.
you. Okay, so I can hear you from here. All right. So let me mute this one.
Great.
Said yeah. Okay. So still the same. Can you hear me now or no?
Yeah, you're very audible. I can hear you properly. Yes. Nope.
Finally. Okay, can you hear me now? No.
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
I can hear you now too.
Great.
Just imagine. Okay. So that works out. I think because I was connected on my laptop as well as my phone. That's what happened there.
It's all good. Okay.
All right. So should I use the previous one that we're a little bit afar?
Yeah, I think that's better. Let's go for that. Yeah.
Let me see. Like this one. This one. So you can just tell me yes. Did it reset on your end?
Nah, nah. It's still the same. Okay.
Maybe to load soon.
Yeah, it should take a while. Just give it a sec.
Okay, that's fine. Um, it's okay. I'll just get started. So what's going to be talking about the. Mama, what's this? Do you want more? Sorry, guys. I'm gonna have a little bit of job today. Um, but yes. Okay, bye. So we're gonna be talking about the power of vulnerability, like opening up, without fear in a relationship. So have you been in a situation where, you are, you're holding back in your relationship because you were afraid of speaking up maybe about your past or about something you feel like your partner should know, or about something you feel like, there's something going on. um and some of the things that can result to that, you have this fear of being judged or rejected or even being misunderstood. So many people don't know this, but vulnerability can be a weakness, but it can also be a strength. It can also strengthen your relationship. So in today's podcast, we'll be diving into the power of vulnerability. So we'll be opening up and exploring why are so many people struggling with vulnerability and how it can impact your connection with your partner. And most importantly, we're looking into how you can embrace it in a way that strengthens your relationship instead of making it or making you feel exposed. So we'll get started by introducing ourselves. My name is Flo Wells. Um, I am a speaker, a podcaster. Obviously, this is a podcast. And I'm also a business career coach as well as um, a mom, and a friend. So I'm going to get our speaker here to introduce himself.
Hi, thank you, Flo. Appreciate. First, my name is Oluwaseun. I hope you pronounce my name better this time around. I hope you all are doing pretty good. I am located here in the beautiful city in Vancouver, in British Columbia. Um, what can I say? I feel great, and I hope you all had an awesome day yesterday. Um, Yesterday being the Vows Day, and I hope you all, express love, show love to your spouse and also to people around you as well. So for today, we will be diving mainly into vulnerability in a relationship, which I think is a very exciting topic as well.
Thank you. So I must say, before we go into diving into what vulnerability means, because it's actually a really broad word that we need to even define, I must say that this topic affects every single relationship, even even business relationship, even like every single relationship, it affects it. So this is very important to be able to shape how people. So at the end of the day, you'll be able to know, should I open up? Should I not open up? You'll be able to know, who should I open up to? Who should I not open up to? Will be helping you with all of this information so that you don't get stuck or you don't get hurt or you don't get in a situation where you can't even heal, right? So the aim is, no matter what, you're living here as a better person, better informed. So we're going to start by defining what vulnerability is. So what does it mean to be vulnerable? I do have my definition, but I'm going to let you go, Oluwaseun. You have your complete name today. I just saw that.
Exactly. Yeah. So thank you as well. Yeah. So what does vulnerability means in a relationship? That could mean different things to different people, but I think it simply basically means you means both individual in a relationship being open to themselves, and also say I'll say from an emotional point of view as well, them being able to trust each other and also being able to experience their feeling and their thoughts as well without being judged. And also I also believe it's an opportunity for couples to express um you know their lows, and be able to be in a safe space to improve on the communication, and also help be a better person, and just be just I don't want to use the word weakness, but at the same time, it's just a way of communicating your lows with your partner, and seeing how you can work things around and be a better person.
Yeah, I love that. I love when you say a safe space because you want to be vulnerable in the right situation, right? Also you want to be vulnerable with the right person.
Correct.
But yes, vulnerability is not a weakness. So from my definition here, it says vulnerability isn't a weakness. It is not about oversharing or dumping your emotions on someone. So, but it is about being open and real about your thoughts, fears, and desires with someone you trust. Give me one sec. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, so an example I have here is, so imagine you're dating someone new and you have insecurity about your past relationships. So instead of pretending like everything is perfect, vulnerability would be saying something like this. You're telling your partner, I have been hurt before and I sometimes struggle with trusting people. But I want to work on it because I see potentials in us. That's vulnerability. It's honesty without manipulation. So I'm going to ask this question, and if you do have questions, please you can put it in the chat, and we will see it and answer your questions as well. And we'll be reading a few comments as we go. But we want to dive into something that says, why do people fear being vulnerable? I'm going to let you speak, Sharon, then I can add more information as we go.
Great, thank you. First, I believe people, you know, are reluctant to express themselves in a relationship due to how the other partner or the other your spouse tends to judge you. You know, it could be due to previous experience as well, where there's trust issues. You confide in your partner, and your partner pretty much use that against you, or yeah. I just feel some people just feel expressing themselves, showing telling their partner about their past trauma could be seen as a sign of weakness. From culture point of view, like a man, um when a man pretty much expresses his lows to say his partner, certain people feel that sign of weakness, which I don't agree to. I believe as a man, or as a woman, you should be able to express yourself with the ones you trust. That's just what I feel with regards to people having issues to being expressive to their partner in the relationship.
Yeah, definitely. So we do have like issues of people are being scared, like, oh, if I tell them something. I think one of the biggest thing is fear. Fear is
Yeah.
the big thing. And if you're scared of opening up, you will just realize that as you go in a relationship, your partner doesn't really know you. And because you're scared, they will end up feeling like you're not fully, loving them. And that's when you see situations like they'll be asking you, "Oh, are you sure you love me?" Or your actions won't really. It will be tricky. So, Essay, sorry, give me one second. I'm gonna get you to join this podcast so that I don't have to be distracted. Okay, come and sit here. Okay, are we good now? So you won't
Uh,
talk? Okay.
awesome.
Like I don't know, doing a podcast with a child here.
Yeah,
You want to
let's
go
go.
now? Okay, go play.
Let's go.
All right. Sorry. So I was actually saying, so why do people feel like they fear being vulnerable? Now, one of the thing is, I'll say, you've mentioned, it will be used against them. That's definitely one of the. That's like instead of 90% reason, that is, or 100% reason, that's like 90%. Another is past trauma and trust issues. People have opened up in relationship before, and what we get to see is, In that particular situation, it was, you know, they trusted someone with that information, but they just, at the end of the day, the information was used against them. Right. So imagine, when you start a relationship and your partner is asking you, oh, you know what, I want us to be open in this relationship. One of the things I want to know is, oh, tell me about your past relationship. Now, I'm going to throw a question to you. Do you think that people should talk about their past relationship when they get into a new relationship? And let me know what your thoughts are.
That's a great question. I like that. To be honest, I think it's based on preference. But for me personally, I think it's okay to share certain information and pretty much not all, but you don't want to overshare certain things as well. Things you know that might be an hindrance for your current relationship. Um, if it's something that's is a big trauma and you want to you move on from that as well, and you believe your partner is someone trustworthy and someone that gives you the safe space to express your feelings and also see how we can help you overcome that as well. And you both work together as a team, and for me, I'm built for success as well. I think it's fine. You can share your past trauma, and I think it pretty much shows your openness to the relationship as well. So that's what I take. Being open, and it also takes away that insecurity. You know, that trust level is gonna grow, and but one thing there is you got to be sure your partner is someone with the right mindset. Someone is pretty much emotionally understanding to see how we can be in a mature place to help you as a partner as well. So I think it's fine, but don't share too much. Don't share things that you feel um could bring a lot of negativity to your current relationship as well. Or rather share, but don't overshare. So you kind of find the balance in there.
Okay, yeah, that's true. Like, so the biggest thing about this vulnerability is you want to be vulnerable to the right person at the right time in the right place, right? But I'm gonna just, this topic is very particular because I think I fall on the spectrum of someone that is not vulnerable at all. Like, and personally, I think I'm not vulnerable, which I am with, with this podcast, with the information I've learned, over the last few years. I just saw how being vulnerable is powerful. Like, when you are someone that you're always keeping everything in, like, oh no, they're gonna use it against me, or things are gonna happen. Yes. Okay, let's say sorry. Let me keep talking. Text. All right. So when you're someone that you have the fear, like, oh, people are going to use it against you or something, one of the things you see is you don't make true connections, right? You don't make that true connection. Um, so for someone like me, how do you think I should get started?
First, if you ask me, it also depends on the trust level you have with, say your partner as well. Or another thing I can say is you need to try to be open as an individual. Um, to be honest, I think that's gonna make you more happy as well. You're gonna make you light, and I think it's a gradual process. You want to start from the little things you can share with your partner, and you take it from there. Um, I also believe you want to choose the things you want to say to say your partner, for example, because you're asking about you. I think you need to start on a small space, on a small pace, and gradually you want to eventually be open to your partner in full. But like you mentioned, like it seems you're someone that you keep to yourself with information. But hey, um you just got to be open, be open, and try to share the things you feel is going to strengthen your relationship as well from your previous trauma, if you want to put it that way.
Okay, so now when you say trauma, I can see you. Just in case you can't
Oh,
see me,
okay.
I can see you.
Okay,
I did.
great.
I made the view about you because you were talking, so I could
Awesome. Great.
manipulate my views from this end. So when you talk about trauma, now that makes it look too extreme, right?
Okay, apologies if I used the word trauma there. Oh, from your past experience, rather. Yeah, I'll use that.
So now the thing is, I'm gonna say another. I'm gonna say another reason. Sorry, give me one sec.
She's gonna join the live stream.
So now I'm gonna talk about vulnerability. Like now, this is being real, right? Like I'm doing a podcast now, and I have like real life situation. This is vulnerability. So you like vulnerability doesn't make you. You have to take- I can barely talk. If I say one sentence, someone is already shouting "mama" somewhere else. Let's say,
Yes,
is
yeah,
it
I see
possible
that as
to
well.
have a quiet podcast? What do you think? You're sure? Yes. Okay. So can I talk now without you interrupting? Yes. Okay, good. So Shewa, I'll get you to do most of the talking because of the way my setting is.
I'll try. I'll try.
Try your best. Okay, so another reason for for people not being vulnerable is a fear of losing control. Now, what I have here is so being vulnerable means admitting that you don't have all the answers. From a man's perspective, you know, that you want to be sure that you have all the answers. What do you have to say?
From a man's perspective, I'm gonna try to tie this down to the African culture. Um, I think in today's world, most men, say from Africa, I'll say, or African background, we don't tend to show, our level of vulnerability, and this is due to the fact that, for a man, if you tend to show level of vulnerability to an extent, you're being perceived as being weak, unfortunately. And I think that's something we need to evolve as a man. um you being with the right partner, the individual you do have trust with, sorry, you do trust, apologies for that, you do trust, and you definitely will want to share, and also, you know be open. That pretty much puts you in a very in good spot and position with your partner as well. You tend to be very expressive, you can communicate better, um and I think it takes your relationship to a greater height as well, when you have that freedom to want to talk about things in the past, and not just in the past, things in the past, and currently as well. It could be something that could be at work, it could be your overall lifestyle. You being open to your partner, and you want to come together as a couple to collaborate and see how you can resolve and rectify whatever vulnerability you currently having as well. So from a man's point of view, I think we can do better when it comes to being open. Does this answer your question?
Both of us now. All right. So as a man, or from a man's perspective, being vulnerable to your partner, trust me, like this period that I've been able to loosen up myself and be vulnerable about how I feel, my thoughts, and everything, things have gotten better. So being vulnerable, the biggest thing is to the right person. And I see that as a very important point. Who are you being vulnerable to? Now, one thing about being vulnerable that I want to say is this is more like an advice, and it works all the time. When you get into a new relationship, whatever the relationship is, you want to in a way not pour out from all your life, whatever, like every single thing. What I'm saying is you want to check who you're pouring it out to first, right? And you start by pouring out a little by little. You tell them, because if I tell you, oh, my past relationship didn't go well, um, yeah, so I'm really looking forward to us, doing better and everything. Because sometimes when people go into a relationship, they want to hear what you've been through, and everything. And you see how they respond to that. So you give them information little by little and you see how they respond to that. Now, let's say you started off, it's just 1 week into your relationship and you're like, oh, my ex girlfriend, used to beat me or something. And sorry, I can't hear you. Is it just me?
Oh, my audible now.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
I was off my
And you
mic.
say like my ex-girlfriend used to beat me and you're telling someone. Then you see like this new relationship that you're in, the girl, maybe you did something and the next thing you're hearing, oh, no wonder your ex-girlfriend used to beat you. That can kill something in you. And that because you entrusted someone with information. And how are they using this information? They're referring to that information, to um is it bring you down or whatever the word is. So that's why, and this is one of the reasons why people don't like opening up,
And
right?
I think, Flo, just to jump in there if you don't mind, this thing
Mm-hmm.
it comes naturally. It comes naturally. I don't think it comes naturally with the right person as well. It also depends on the kind of rapport you have with your partner as well. If you're the type that you both express yourself, you cordial, you're jovial with each other, you're very intentional. It's gonna come naturally without any hidden agenda. Say, hey, my previous relationship, um, I wasn't comfortable expressing myself to my partner due to the fact that she lacks secrecy as well. She wasn't good in keeping secrets, or he wasn't good in keeping secrets as well. But I think it's all about being with the right person. And what I mean by being the right person, the person you can trust. And you're both, it's a two-way thing. It's not just a one-way thing. You're both expressing yourself, and see it as an opportunity to be open, and look at the bigger picture here. But it comes naturally. That's what I'll say. It comes naturally. It's just like your friend as well. If you have a couple different kind of friends, there's a certain friend which you tend to talk to more and express yourself
Ah,
more with the person.
yeah.
It's simply because you tend to trust this person more, and it comes naturally. So that's it.
So I do agree with you. Like if you feel very comfortable, that's when, so you share information because you're comfortable with them. That's what natural is. Being natural is like you feel the environment is safe enough. So it just, there's no restriction. You just let everything out, right? So
Correct.
you can't be in a place where you are sensing that someone is not going to, now someone is not going to listen to you and just say, oh, whatever I'm being vulnerable is natural. No.
No.
Something inside you will even hold you back.
True.
We naturally react to our environment. We react to the person. That thing when you say it comes naturally is because like you're reacting to the fact that you feel safe around that person.
Person
So
is not
that's when
judgmental
that's,
as well.
sorry.
I mean, the person is not judgmental towards towards your vulnerability.
Yeah. So that's when that's natural, when it comes naturally. And it's so beautiful to be vulnerable. Trust me. Like, I have been vulnerable lately, and I'm like, oh my God, this is what I was missing out, right?
Did you feel light? How did you feel? Tell me.
I felt light and I felt more understood,
Great,
right?
great.
So, we're going to be diving into like some of the benefits of being vulnerable because we've already stated as part of what vulnerability is number one, be vulnerable to the right person. So we'll talk about the benefit of being vulnerable. Then we're going to go over to talking about when someone is vulnerable to you, how should you react to it? Because people close up because of the reaction, the vibe they get from the environment or from the person they're opening up to, right? We're going to be saying some do's and don'ts. If you're on the other side of, listening to someone that has been vulnerable towards you, what to do, your kind of reaction, what is expected. But let's talk about the benefits of being vulnerable. Like I said, one of the benefits that I have seen lately is The fact that you are better understood. So instead of you assuming that someone understands you, in your head you're like, "Ah, you should know now. You should know, because of my past relationship, I don't like this kind of thing. How will I know?" Right? So one of the things is you are better understood, which definitely makes the relationship, less conflicting. But
Conflicting,
let's
yeah.
get from you.
Yeah, I think I like the point you made. To be honest, I think we all are all guilty of this to a certain extent. um, for me as well, to be very honest, there's situations where maybe in the past, where I, tend to keep certain information. And not because I didn't trust the person, my partner, or you name it, but like different factors pretty much contributed to that as well. But being in a much safer space, communicating is something that pretty much helped me showing my I use the word my flaws, things I am not perfect with, things I'm pretty much struggling with because currently, just being open. And it made me light. It made me, you kind of relieve the pressure of me as well. It's like you carrying a burden on you. If you don't express this thing out to the ones you love, you're gonna die. You're gonna die with this information. So for me, like, and sometimes you share certain things and it becomes, some kind of joke, something you both laugh about, and you pretty much enjoy the moments as well from both sides. So the great benefits includes that openness, you build that togetherness, you improve your relationship. There are a lot of benefits to being vulnerable because it just shows your partner that um you're human. That's the word. You're human, and at the same time, you're yeah, you're also being open to you need help as well. You need help, and being you need someone your partner to be supportive as well, and not to be judgmental, and see how you can strive from there. So that's what I think which you got in benefits of being vulnerable to your partner as well.
Totally. Yeah, no, it makes you feel light. I love that point. Some of the benefits of vulnerable, I would say, is like you've mentioned, number one, it deepens emotional intimacy. Like, just imagine
Awesome, like that.
telling someone the worst of your worst. So let's say you have, you know, like one very annoying question that I don't like. I find it annoying. Honestly, I feel like people should be vulnerable, but there are some things you shouldn't really care about. That's my point of view. For example, you are in a relationship, you just got into a new relationship, and you're asking the person, "Oh, can you tell me what's your body count?" I'm like, but what do you have to say about that kind of question? Do you think, oh, we're talking about vulnerability. Do you think, being vulnerable is like, I'm going to answer you like, you know what? I think I have slept with 1,000 men, but you know what? I'm being vulnerable to you right now. What do you think?
Okay.
Do you think there's some information that you still need to keep to yourself?
Okay, to be honest, we're diving into a different conversation now, but I like this. Okay, I'll try as much as possible to tie things down with being from a cultural point of view. To be honest, it also depends on the individual you're building your life with. But trust me, as based on most men believe, I don't think you know women should get too much details with regarding body counts to their partner, because honestly, whether you like it or not, the perception is not really good from a man. Getting to hear much about you don't have to get too much details. I think you can shy away from that for a while. Um, you can just talk about it on the surface level, but don't get into details because you just get the man start thinking of you in a different way. And I'll just say, just keep it on the surface level. Don't give too much information out. And it's your past. But don't say too much. You can talk about the experience, the good part, the bad part. But don't don't give too much information because the way men think is pretty much different from the way women think in certain ways. So from that point of view, from a sexual point of view, I don't think it's advisable to get into more details. Like I said again, it depends on the individual. I'm not gonna tell you how you want to live your life, but it's you.
Okay, that's becoming quite interesting because we're trying to say. So, are you trying to tell me that I shouldn't say all the things that has happened to me? Tell them, you know what? I was here. They used to beat me. I was here. I was raped. I was this. Like what?
Oh, you can share those. Yeah, you can touch. You can touch. You can talk about those parts. Just your journey. Your journey. Talk about your journey. But like I said, there's some things you want to filter, right? Um, just imagine. Okay, I don't mean to sound in this way, but just imagine as a lady, you telling your man, you've, you've slept with about 200, 500. Like how does that sound? Like
You're
I
already
don't
being
think.
judgmental.
No, like I don't think it helps. No, like I don't think it helps you as a lady. Just like the man as well. Why are you telling your partner the same thing? You don't have to be in details in terms of numbers. Just say yes, you had some good experience, some bad experience. But trust me, like whether you like it or not, it's gonna shape and change the way your partner sees you. Like it's just the natural woman thoughts. So for me, I think you can talk about it on the surface level. Yes, you talk about your journey, the beautiful times you had, the things if you want the things you miss, if your partner can, I don't know, but talk about the beautiful things there, the good things, and you want to move on from that. That's the most important thing there. But with regard to the numbers, getting into details, I don't think that's necessary. But that doesn't help your relationship. It doesn't help your current relationship. So I don't think you need to overshare. That's it.
Okay, there we are. So we're going to be talking about. So I do agree with you. You want to filter what you say. However, I have seen situations where the other partner says, "Oh, I want to know all the details, all the tiny details, because that is how I like my openness. That is how I like the whole openness thing. That is what I define as openness." So in that situation, you're not describing, "Oh, we went into a room." You're describing the little details because you want to be open. But we are all humans, and no matter how you say it, except the person has been trained to be emotionally very matured, they will, not every detail will leave their head, right? It will create a perception about you. So words are so powerful. That's why, this podcast is talking about how we can use words to influence life. Words are one of the most powerful tools that can break or make you, right? So you're saying these words to this person, a very emotionally mature person will not see that. We actually use those words and make you a better person. But someone that is not emotionally matured will use those things to, even make your life more miserable, right? So now, you can't define emotional maturity by just stepping into a relationship and just say, "Oh, you know what, my partner is emotionally matured." No. You want to see how they deal with the small details first before you pour out the most deepest of your, I don't know what to call it, of, your experiences or your emotions and all of that. So see how they deal with the small. So we're talking about the benefits of being vulnerable. I just threw that question in there so people can also know some of the other side to it. So one of the thing benefits of being vulnerable is, we already said, it deepens emotional intimacy. It can also build trust and security, right? It helps avoid misunderstanding. I'm gonna get you to throw more light into like this whole misunderstanding piece. how it helps to avoid misunderstanding.
Um, I think it just shows, your true intention in terms of you being very open about building your relationship for success, and you know how you want to move on from your past, and just I think it pretty much builds you for success as well when you express certain information to your partner as well. I think it strengthens your bond. It also help, in terms of, you talked about the intimacy point of view. You both can see life from a better perspective in terms of how you view, individual. So for me, I think I'll say, just to add up to the field you mentioned, in general, it's I think it's pretty awesome to be open about your certain past, but don't overshare. Like I mentioned as well, you want to be cautious of certain things, but at the same time, you know, it's life. You want to enjoy life and also share with your partner. No one is perfect, and at the same time as well, you want to ensure you create that space, safe space where you feel your partner is emotionally intelligent and understanding enough to help you from your past trauma, or you name it. So that's just my take
Yeah,
on this.
totally. So I'm just gonna finish up by saying it can encourage your partner to open up as well. So sometimes when you share some things about you, it also encourages whoever is struggling with opening up to open up, right? So it just takes two people to support each other in this area. Another thing is it can help heal past wounds. Sometimes when you open up about something, you don't know the kind of healing that comes from it, right? And it will strengthen your resilience to even dealing with, other vulnerable things that comes around. So how do we open up without fear? I know we said a few things, but I'm gonna dare you to just give us a little thing. So now I am someone that I'm struggling with opening up. Give me some of like some things I should take note of that will help me open up without fear. Do you want to jump at it, or I can just get started with it?
Yeah, I can touch a little bit and
Okay.
have you you know I think first, your personality first determine how you want to go about that as well. If you're someone that you're very expressive, or you keep to yourself, that will determine how that's going to be easy to express with with your partner as well. um don't want Yeah, obviously you should be able to trust your partner first, but at the same time as well, how was your communication with your partner as well? you know um don't overthink it. Start from the small things, like I said, the things you feel will make your current relationship or your current love life flourish. Start from those things, and be open. um you know just let it flow. Like I said, the right things. You don't want to bring things that is going to make things worse in your current relationship. And start from the things you feel your partner will be excited to want to share his as well. So start from those little things, and gradually and talk more. That's what I say. Talk more. Talk more, play more.
Yeah.
I think that will help.
So I remember a particular story of one of our neighbors. So we went to this wedding, we were dancing, everything was going on, and all of a sudden, 2 days after, we heard that the couples separated. They went their separate ways, right? We even bought one very big gift and we carried our gift. I was like, what about the gift we spent? Now this is what happened. When we heard the gist about it is they were like, oh, the guy had a child many years ago and he did not disclose this to the lady, and they got married, and the lady found out after the wedding. He waited till after the wedding to be vulnerable. um and the lady said, you know what, I can't deal with it, this is lie, this, I can't trust you, you deceived me, blah blah blah. Now what I'm looking for here is, now this guy decided to be vulnerable. Does timing affect vulnerability? Let's
Yes,
talk
it
about.
does. Yeah, I think he was vulnerable, but at the wrong time. He should have been vulnerable at the beginning. No, I won't say beginning, but at the early stage of the relationship. Come clean, be open. Hey, this is me. I do have a, while you're building your relationship with your partner at the early stage, be open. I do have a child, see how she takes it. If it's something she's comfortable with, fine. Rather than, yeah, that's the sit, like yeah, I'm not gonna, yeah, for, it's something I feel there's that lack of trust there. Why wait to this time? That pretty much tells you he's gonna be hiding a lot of information and a lot of vital things as well. So should have disclosed this to his partner a long time ago.
So it might not be hiding any more maybe that was just the last information that he has to
And
disclose.
who are we to
Then just
tell?
what I'm gonna do this after the wedding, right? Now I'm saying this because you heard about vulnerability. Vulnerability happens. You need to know the right time to be vulnerable. There's some information you need to tell the person at the beginning of a relationship so that you know where you're going. I don't believe in wasting time. Let's figure it out. Let's just say write the vision, make it plain, right? So that we know what we're running with. So tell me, this is who you are. This is what has happened. I don't need like all the extra. There's some information that are very important to disclose, especially information that will either build or break trust, right? You can say things like you tell the person about your family, maybe about your finances. Just say you have a private jet, you know, and the relationship has started, and they're like, oh, you know what? Let's go to the Bahamas. And I'm sitting in one house. I can't go to Bahamas. I'm like, how far? The private jet you say you have, where is it? So I suppose you talk about your finances, talk about your family, talk about your work, your job. Don't lie about, some of the most important stuff that you believe your partner should know about, right? So um timing is very important. You can keep some things to the end, but don't keep the most important things to the end unless it's going to be read as deceit at the end of the day,
Yeah, and
right?
also just to add up to what you said there, that's too much information to keep till they like. No, that's too much. That's too much. You want to give her the opportunity. You think so? What I was just saying is, I don't know this couple, but
It can also be the other way around, right?
yeah.
Like
So
they
it could be the
out
lady having. But
and
what I see here is, I'm sorry,
go ahead.
he didn't give the guy didn't give the lady the chance to make a decision. That's what I feel there. Yeah, give her the chance to make a decision if she's comfortable with living a life of nurturing someone else's child or you name it. Well, you just give her a chance to decide if she wants this in her life. Yeah, yeah. That's a problem there.
And totally, like, and you'll be surprised. Like, if you'll be surprised, people are willing to even accept you the way you are. That's one thing you want to know. Like, I have seen a lady having 6 kids, dating this guy with no child. And she just said, you know what, I have 6 kids. However, this is what has happened. People will accept you the way you are. The right person will accept you the way you are. So you don't need to hide information. You don't need to, mix up lies just to make you look better. Now, how to open up without fear. So let's say you're in a situation you have a lot of baggages, right? Come in. Because some of your baggages can just be past trauma. So people are really traumatized by, maybe their partner steps out of the house. They're already calling them, giving them 10 missed calls. That's a trauma, right? So you want to open up with, oh, maybe I've had this situation where I left my girlfriend here, I traveled to the US, I came back, I opened the room and that, and since then I've been traumatized. That can help, So that's being vulnerable with, your past experiences. And that way, when you're acting a setting, even your partner might want to adjust and maybe more open just to help you heal. So what I'm saying is, although when you have trauma, you want to be actively working on it, don't be pushing your trauma to other people because it makes their life more difficult. So when you have a trauma, whether it can be a lot of things, jealousy, or you're just not a happy person, that is trauma. When you're not just a happy person, it's trauma. It's as a result of something, right? Sorry, I
Correct.
can't
Yeah.
hear
Yeah. I'm
you.
out. Yeah. I'm audible.
Okay, yes, good. I can hear you now. So don't, be vulnerable even with your traumas will help your relationship.
Spot on. Yeah, I do agree with that as well.
Yeah. So just a few other things I want to note before we go to the last question is, so now how to open up without fear. The first thing, you want to start small, right? So you don't want to spill out everything at once. You want to start with the smaller things and build up over time. So instead of I have deep childhood trauma, you want to start with something like I struggle with expressing my emotions. You know, you don't want to go into like the big, like when people hear trauma, that's when I hear trauma, I'm like, hold on there. That is not what, instead of saying, oh, I have deep childhood trauma, just say, oh, I struggle with expressing my emotions sometimes, which is the same thing, but it's just in a more subtle way. And the second thing is you want to choose the right person to be vulnerable with. And we've said that over and over again. That creates a safe space, right? Not everyone deserves access to that vulnerable side of you. You can't just come online and say, and just be crying. I don't know. That's why celebrities that come online and show us their life and all of that, they feel attacked. And some of them, you hear that, oh, they are in rehab or something, because sometimes not everyone needs to know the most vulnerable things about you.
I got
Then
a question, if you don't mind.
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, this just came into my my thoughts as well. Like, what happened when you have a partner and you love this partner very much, and you're beautiful success as well. Um, but your partner, you want to share certain, you know, vital information, but your partner he's a talkative. He doesn't know how to keep secrets. What do you do?
uh, okay, your partner is a talkative and doesn't know how to keep secrets.
Secret.
so
So what do you do in that situation? I'm just thinking
so
about this in my mind.
yes, I think that's quite a very interesting question. So what I hear from you is your partner cannot deal with the vulnerable information you want to give to them, right?
Yes.
You want to tell them, oh, you know what, I have this, I have that. They just can't deal with it. You're gonna hear it on the streets. So in that particular situation, what I would say is you want to filter what you say. That's just the reality. If you don't want your information out there, that's why you're studying the partner that you're telling or you're being vulnerable to. We're not advising you to be vulnerable, just go everywhere, be vulnerable to
No.
everybody. Was trying to tell you that you need to be selective on who you're vulnerable to. So let's say you're now watching this podcast today, you are like um 50 years in your marriage, or
Oh, that's
and
a
you're
long
like,
term.
oh, I just realized that, oh, I've never been vulnerable, but I really miss that part. At this point, I would say you can have the conversation with your partner. So it's all about understanding. Have conversation with your partner and say, see, I feel like I want to be vulnerable to you, but I don't like the way you talk. It's all about expressing. That way, you're telling them that, "Ah, I want to be vulnerable to you. Can you help me be vulnerable?"
Okay.
You're asking for help by having those conversations. Can you help me be vulnerable? And you say, oh, I know that I have been vulnerable a little bit, but I had it in this your best friend's mouth. Can we keep our information within this relationship space? That way I can be more vulnerable, right? So the way your partner responds to that will also determine if you should go ahead. Like a supportive partner, which we always encourage, will say, oh, I am really sorry about if that is how you felt. I felt that, oh, that had no impact. But if you've never mentioned it, some people really don't know that what you're doing is impacting you. That's why I have a big policy of don't ever assume your partner knows something if you have never had a conversation about it.
Assumption, yeah. And that's
Yeah.
something
So
yeah. It goes a
assumption,
long way in a relationship in today's world. Like, a lot of people assume things. You start thinking of things in your mind, negative thoughts, and yeah,
no, don't assume things. Don't assume someone knows. Like you're two people coming from a different background.
background. Yeah,
So let me
correct.
give an instance. So I remember a while back, um, you know, now I'm thinking in my head because I'm about to share a vulnerable story, and I'm thinking, does my audience need to hear this? Right? So you wanna pick, the situations where you're being vulnerable. We do have 6 more minutes, but I'm gonna give like a very generic assumption. right? Where you're getting married to a lady that is from a rich home. She has always had house help. Or let me give another example from the other side of this. You're getting married to a guy that is from, a wealthy family. He has always had house help. He has never cooked in his life, um, and all of that. So, you guys are married, or you guys are in a relationship. Not even marriage now. You're in a relationship, and one day you fell sick, and it is 2 a.m. in the night. No store is open, and you're like, oh, um, I want to eat something, and the guy's like, "Ah, there's no way, nothing I can do. Or I don't even know. Oh, that kind of thing." And you're like, you finally get well. Now you keep that thing in your mind, and you're like, oh, even if you don't know how to cook, you'd have at least cooked. It's more like you're like the person did not make any effort.
Effort, yeah.
Yeah, so the aspect of it, or you're flipping the other way around, you get married to this girl because men have expectations. African men have expectations. Same way with other men, right? They have expectation of how their wife should be, right? So you get married to this girl, she cooks, but she doesn't know how to cook well, or she has never done house shows, and you come home and the whole house is dirty, or the whole house is a mess, and you're like, this is something you should know. Why don't you know this? Right? So now, if this partner was vulnerable enough to say, oh, you know what? I'm not very good in this area, right? Or I'm not very good. So that way, your partner already knows in their head that, I should not expect an excellent job, right? On this thing. You now might stand on the floor. You're not like, how can they be stand on the floor? And stuff like that. So setting that expectation early is one of the most important things to, helping your partner understand you better. So another thing you want to do when you're opening up without fear is you want to observe their reaction, right? You want to observe their reaction. You also want to set boundaries. So vulnerability doesn't mean letting someone mistreat you. Know when to walk away. So you get vulnerable with someone, and you start seeing they're using that vulnerability, the information you give to them, to mistreat you in a certain way. You don't want to be in that situation, right? So that means you have overshared. You want to also have conversation and says, hey, I told you this because I wanted us to build a more intimate, relationship,
Relationship, yeah.
not for us to, not for you to use it
Be
to mistreat me in the,
judgmental.
right? So the last question that we're going to be talking about is what to do if someone opens up to you. How should people react to something like that? Do you want to take a shot at it?
So how do you react if you when your partner opens up to you?
Yes. How should
Ah,
you know, what to do if someone opens up to you?
okay, great, great. I think it's fair enough to say, yeah, as an individual, or you should be able to show you should be compassionate, show empathy. Um, Also, give your partner the listening ear. You don't want to be judgmental. Um, you want to be in a place. You want to give them an opportunity to trust you. No level of insecurity. And I'll say, let your partner feel very, confident and feel good about telling you their flaws. And it just tells you what they think about you as a person as well. They can build trust with you. They can share valid information, and also they can look to you. They can look up to you. For strength. I think there's a few points with regards to how one can receive such information from your partner or your spouse as well. So yeah, that'll be my few details. I know you can definitely chip in some more.
Yeah, totally. One of the things that you want to do is you want to listen without judging, right? So don't rush to give advice. I'm like, oh, you fuck up, or this is what you would have done. Ah, that's not they don't want your advice at that point, right? So don't be rushing to be an advisor. And the second thing is validate their feelings, right? You can say things like, that must have been hard for you. Or you can say things like, I appreciate you trusting me with this. So that way they feel like you're validating their feelings. Then the third point I want to say is, don't use it against them later. Never, ever. Right? So this is the key, right? Never throw someone's like vulnerability, back at them in a fight. Because most times when those things, when you kind of remember those things, are when there's an argument. You're not like, you told me this, or you that used to do one thing, or you that, no. Don't throw that vulnerability in a fight. Don't ever bring it up. Don't bring it. Let it just die there. But some people don't like keeping their mouth shut. Like you said, if you have a partner that's a talkative, you tell them something, they're all over the place talking about it. They tell you about it morning, they tell you about it night, they tell you about it evening. Yeah. So you are just creating a very toxic environment for both you and your partner.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Okay, so we're just gonna be getting some final words from you. Um, do you have anything other last words to throw in on this topic?
Yeah, I think it's a very exciting topic and very insightful as well. I think as individuals, we definitely can do better in terms of being open and also expressing our vulnerability to a partner as well. So for me, I hope my information will flow. It's gonna go out there and help people who are dealing with who feel very timid to express themselves, or be open and communicate with a partner as well. And I just hope people can get the positive side from this stream. And I would just want to say thank you all for jumping on the stream, and hope to have you guys next week as well. Have an awesome weekend
Yeah.
for my.
So one last word. Thank you so much, Shayla. One last word is, remember, vulnerability is not a weakness. It is courage. It takes courage to be vulnerable. So you're displaying courage. So no matter what, no matter the aftermath, you just stick to some of the advice we've given, how to be vulnerable to, how to be vulnerable, how to respond to a vulnerable person, and let's make the world a better place.
Better
Let's get
place
more vulnerable men, especially let's get more, ladies, I feel they are naturally vulnerable in
than
terms of
men.
how to
Correct.
express emotions. But like, as a lady, you're watching this podcast, know how to respond when your man becomes vulnerable. And let's encourage more men to be vulnerable in different situations. It is not a weakness. It builds deeper intimacy, deeper connection, and helps your partner understands you better. So you're not assuming they know you when they don't. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today, and we will see you next week, same time.